Okay, so, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This game is releasing in less than 5 months, and even though it is a sequel to my favorite game of all time, I am very worried about the game, and in this video I will be talking about why. Alrighty, now as I said earlier, Tears of the Kingdom is releasing in roughly 130 days at the time I'm recording this video, and we barely know anything about the game since June of 2019, when the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was first revealed. We have seen a total of 6 minutes and 15 seconds of trailer footage, with roughly 100 seconds of those 6 minutes being gameplay, and it has me worried and quite confused as to why Nintendo aren't showing us more of the game. Way back in 2015, 16, and early 2017, Nintendo was showing off so much of Breath of the Wild, from trailers to gameplay showcases, and this just isn't the case with Tears of the Kingdom, and so I'm left with the thought that there isn't any big selling point for Nintendo to show us. Tears of the Kingdom exists solely because the development team had a lot of ideas for DLC for Breath of the Wild, and so I'm left to think that these ideas aren't as big or cool enough for Nintendo to think that they should show them off. And if there isn't going to be a big selling point, should the development team have just made DLC? That is a question I want answered. Then you also consider that AGA Enuma said that Tears of the Kingdom is going to take place in the exact same Hyrule that Breath of the Wild took place in. It really makes me think that the development team don't have anything cool to show us. And so rather than releasing a bunch of gameplay that looks very similar to Breath of the Wild, they just aren't showing us anything, and are crossing their fingers that the game sells well just because it's the sequel to one of the best video games ever. I just don't understand why Nintendo haven't released a trailer that shows off the big new things in Tears of the Kingdom, and so I don't think there are going to be any big new ideas that actually validate Nintendo's choice to make a whole game out of DLC ideas. Nintendo, just show us a reason to buy this game. As each day passes, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the Nintendo Switch's life, and the system's age and lack of power is starting to show. In the original Breath of the Wild, there were some parts in the game where frame rates would drop, but these weren't too common. They only happened when you were fighting enemies and it just so happened to be raining. And so seeing as Tears of the Kingdom is going to be a bigger game than Breath of the Wild, but the Switch's hardware hasn't evolved at all, will there be more performance issues in Tears of the Kingdom? I assume there will be, and that worries me. As time has gone on, more and more games have released on the Switch that can't run well due to its lack of power. And I'm not just talking about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There are a bunch of Nintendo Switch games that have released that the Switch's hardware just hasn't been able to support. So with no sign of a Nintendo Switch Pro releasing before Tears of the Kingdom, my gut feeling is that Tears of the Kingdom is going to have a bunch of performance issues, and I do not want that. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was full of frame rate issues, and obviously Tears of the Kingdom isn't going to be as demanding of a game, but the Nintendo Switch is getting very old, and we all thought that a Nintendo Switch Pro would have come out by now, but it hasn't, and I'm just worried that Tears of the Kingdom is going to run like crap on the Switch, and I really don't want that to happen. And the video's done. Bye.